Craig Dickenson joins us. And Craig, let's go back, and I hope you're okay talking about this, but since your time after being the head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I don't think you've done any, if much, media. Are you happy to lay low for a little while?
Yes and no. I mean, it's certainly not. It wasn't painful to not do it. That's for sure. But I didn't mind, Justin, when I did media. But the reality is, when you're not the head coach anymore, people don't really want to hear what you have to say. So it's been kind of refreshing, and I haven't minded it a bit. I've been able to focus on just coaching football and really just diving into the film and working that way. So I've had maybe 2 media requests since that day, and I've been, I certainly didn't. I've passed on a few right after I was let go, but because there really wasn't much to say. So I don't mind the quiet and the peace and quiet, but I still enjoy the football. So it was fine.
What was that time like for you in the days and the months after it was fresh, where the Riders didn't renew your contract? And I want to put it in the most respectful terms for you, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, that was it. They just opted to go a different route, and we know in football that happens. That happens all the time, and I respect that decision and don't have any ill will towards that organization at all. I was the head coach there for 5 years. They were 5 good years, and even before that, I was there for a long time as a special teams coordinator. So I've got a lot of loyalty and a lot of respect and a lot of love for really everybody out there. Rider Nation was very good to me. Hopefully they feel like I represented them well and they were proud of the work we did when we were there. But life is all about change, and the sooner you realize that, the happier you are. You got to move on, and when one door closes, another opens up, and I'm happy to be in Calgary and happy to be working with my brother and helping the Stamps.
You mentioned change there before we look at what you're doing with Calgary. Is there anything that you look back on during your time in Saskatchewan and say, I would have changed this, or I might have done that differently? Or are you content with what happened there? Because you did have some really successful seasons.
Excuse me. Yeah. If you're a thoughtful person and introspective person, you're always going to look at things you've done and figure out, maybe I could have done it better this way or done it a little differently in that other way. So I've always been very introspective and always been very open to ideas and looking at things in different ways. So for sure, there's things I would have done differently. But at the end of the day, you do the best you can. You do the best you can with what you have, and you put them all out on the table, and you work hard, and you come to work each day, and you treat people with respect and consideration, and you do everything you can. And so I have no regrets of my time in Saskatchewan. Would I have done things a little differently? Maybe, right? But it's a team, and I'm one voice. Jeremy's another voice. Kyle Carson's another voice. Greg Reynolds is another voice. So the reality is, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village really to win football championships. And I felt like the coaching staff, we did the best we could. We didn't win enough games. And at the end of the year, the coaches will be evaluated on that. And, it's management's prerogative and certainly their decision if they want to go a different route. But I have no regrets whatsoever. I do feel like I've learned a lot in my time there as the head coach. And I think my next opportunity, I'll put some of those lessons to use, and I think I'll be even better than I was the first time around.
From your time there, and you said it was 5 years as the head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, what knowledge would you pass down to Corey Mace in terms of what to expect from Rider Nation and everything that goes along with being the head coach there?
Well, I think he's got a pretty good handle on it right now. I read something early in the year where his wife was at Costco and she was able to shop and nobody really recognized her. And then about a month later, she did the same thing and everybody was asking her how the team was doing, how coach was doing. The reality is you're going to be recognized and you do the best you can to say hello to people when they stop you. And I think Corey knows that and he embraces that. But it's still football. You still got to show up each day, go into the office, put your hard hat on and get to work. And then when you go home at night, certainly there's people that you'll see along the way that will recognize you, but that's really the only difference. I think the support in Rider Nation is outstanding. I think people want you to succeed. And if you do struggle, they're certainly not happy about it, but I never felt like there was any sort of animosity or anything like that. we did the best we could. We didn't win enough games. And I think any organization in pro sports, if you don't win enough games, you're liable to not come back. And the Riders were no different.
Even though Rider fans are very passionate, when you saw them in person most of the time, were they nicer, at least, with some of the things they would say?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I met some really great people. There's a gentleman by the name of Rob Schultz, Rob and Donna, that own a little an outfitting place up on Last Mountain Lake. I go back every year. I went this year again, and I'm going to continue to go back and see those two and fish and enjoy just being in Saskatchewan. So a few folks saw me over our bye week in August, and they said, "Coach, what are you doing back here?" And I said, "Hey, I'm not going to stop coming to Saskatchewan just because I'm not coaching the Riders." I said, I really enjoy this province. There's a lot of neat things about it. I love the fish. I love the outdoors. I love the people there. So it's a great place to be. It's a great place to be, and I have zero regrets for my time there. I enjoyed every minute of it.
How do you have that attitude about it, Coach? Because some people might have some hard feelings, especially with it being so close in terms of when you were the head coach. It's less than a year from that time, but it seems like you're happy that it happened, not sad that it's over.
Absolutely. I loved every minute of it. And like I said, I feel like I've learned a great deal over the course of those 5 years, and even being out this year and watching, how things are done here. I've certainly gained new appreciation. I've been able to share some of that with David and with Huff and some of the guys here. I just think it's a mindset of positivity, and I try my best to have it. I think everything is a lesson, and if you choose to learn from it and move forward, I think you can really benefit by doing that. And the folks in Riderland treated me very well. Craig Reynolds, Jeremy O'Day, that board, they were very supportive of me and the coaching staff. They gave us what we needed to win. We didn't win as many as we should have. And ultimately, at the end of the day, they made the choice to not renew me. And because of that, the staff as well. But it's okay. There's a lot of things we learn, a lot of things that I'll take moving forward, Justin. I hope to get back in that chair one more time before it's all said and done. I feel like I'm still relatively young, and I bring a lot of good stuff to the table. And I'm hoping to get another opportunity somewhere else, and I'm going to learn what I learned in Saskatchewan. I'm going to learn what I've learned here in Calgary and every other place I've been, and just apply it moving forward, because you're never too old to learn new ways of doing things. And I think experience is the greatest teacher of all. And the experience in Saskatchewan certainly taught me a great deal.
Former head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Craig Dickenson, joins us. Now you're a senior consultant with the Calgary Stampeders, and alongside your brother there, Dave Dickenson, who's the head coach and general manager. So how did that role come about?
Well, I knew I'm not wired to sit out. That's just not how I do things. I like being around football. I love the game, and I love working with players and coaches. So I knew I was going to coach somewhere. I also knew I wanted to stay somewhere out west this year. It doesn't mean I wouldn't go east next year, but I did know I wanted to stay out west this year. And I felt like David, he's got a lot on his plate. He's the head coach, the general manager, and he's calling plays. So that's a lot. And I felt like I could help him. So I offered my services. I said, if you can create a role in some way, some shape or form, I'd be more than happy to come up. I would have come up anyways, Justin, honestly, and just done it for free. Because I really love football, certainly want to help my brother. I love my family, and I want to make sure he's successful, and I'm doing the best I can to help him. So that's just me. I was going to coach somewhere, whether it be at a high school or a college or university in the States or up here. I was going to coach somewhere this year. I just was hoping to do it closer to family, and I got what I wanted.
Did you have other offers to go elsewhere, and you turned them down to be with your brother?
It's similar, almost similar to your question about media request. I had a few phone calls, but I was very upfront with people this year. And, certainly one thing about being a head coach for the Riders, you learn to be upfront, and you learn to be very transparent in what you do, because you're very visible. And I was just very transparent with people. I was not interested in coaching full-time for someone other than Calgary this year. I was going to spend a little more time with my folks, who are both getting a little older each day. And I want to try to enjoy time with them while they're still able to do the things that we all love to do, which is like fishing and camping and stuff. So I felt like I wasn't going to dive into a full-time gig this year. I was either going to take the year off and just basically travel and do some football work that way in terms of going and seeing some coaches and learning from them, or I was going to try to help my brother here in Calgary as a consultant and also do some scouting, which I've been able to do. So it really has worked out awesome for me this year.
What does a senior consultant do, at least in your role with the Stamps?
Well, the better question, Justin, would be what doesn't he do? Like I've done pretty much everything. I make the coffee in the morning when I first show up. I make sure that there's enough footballs on the field for each individual to do, and I go scout NFL players and take a look at them. I help my brother in game situations, talking about when to challenge, when to not, or help him with personnel. So yeah, I say that kind of tongue in cheek. Basically, I'm just here to help out in any way, shape, or form. So I've been working with Dwayne Cameron and the defensive staff. Brent Monson, the defensive coordinator here, does a great job. I've been able to help him, Coach Slovic and Coach Simpson and Dwayne with the defense. I've been working primarily with the DBs because that's the biggest group. So that's been fun for me to learn a little bit about the Stampeder defense. I've been helping on special teams and kind of an advanced scouting role for Coach Gillum, just giving him some information, some early information on the team we play next. And then I've been helping out in the personnel side, just basically giving my opinions on our personnel, where I feel like we need to be better and where I feel like there's maybe some needs for our team moving forward. And then I was able to go on the road and do some NFL training camps and do some scouting that way. So it's really a very broad job. And it's exactly what I wanted. I wanted to be involved in all phases of football. I think it helps me down the road for future head coaching opportunities because I've really got a chance to wear that GM, or at least do some of the GM / sort of responsibilities when it comes to personnel and looking at players and trying to get them up here.
And that's what I was going to ask you, Craig, is what is potentially in your future? You mentioned that after this season, you wouldn't be opposed to going east and entertain other opportunities. So what would you like to be doing in 2025 and beyond?
Well, I want to be coaching for sure. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. I'd certainly like another crack at a head opportunity because I feel like what I've learned specifically these last 5 years is really going to help me moving forward. I always felt like I have a pretty good grasp of the big picture in terms of like how to build a team out of, your foundational pillars, so to speak, of what you want to be known for. I feel like I've got a really good handle on the ratio. So I would like to be a head coach again. And if that happens, great. If it does not, I just want to coach, whether that be in the U.S. I've still got some NFL contacts that I know, and I know there'll be some jobs next year. I enjoy college football immensely. I still know enough people down in the States and the NCAAs that there might be an opportunity there, or up in Canada. I love this league, and this league has been kind of my home for 20 years now, and the lifestyle and the style of play and the sort of players that you want up here, I think I've got a really good handle on that, and I think I know what it looks like. I think I can look at a player and say that guy's going to translate in the CFL, and I think I can look at a player and say his skill set maybe won't translate as well. So I feel like I have a lot of opportunities coming up, Justin. I'd like to stay in Calgary if they'll have me, but I'm open to whatever comes in this new year. This 2024 was my sabbatical, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it.
It sure sounds like it. Before we let you go, Craig, is there anything else that you would want to say to Rider Nation about your time there, or get the message out that maybe I didn't give you the opportunity to do through this interview?
No, not really, because I one thing about me, and people that know me will say this, I'm very approachable. Like hopefully everybody who said hello to me, hopefully I spent a minute or two and visited with them. I didn't ever blow anybody off because that's not my style, even when I'm busy. And maybe that's a detriment. I ended up getting home late too many nights because I was visiting with folks at the grocery store. But no, I loved every minute in Rider Nation. I'm very appreciative and grateful for the opportunity given, and I enjoyed every single interaction I had. There wasn't one negative interaction I could think of, Justin, not one. And so whoever I came across, if I visited with you, if I said hello to you or you said hello to me, I just want to thank them and let them know that each person that came up to me every interaction was appreciated and cherished, and I certainly wish them all the best moving forward. I enjoyed my time there, and I just want to say thank you for letting me be a part of Rider Nation for those 8 to 10 years that I was there. I enjoyed it a lot.
I'll say, and you mentioned you saying hi to people. One thing that I remember, and you probably don't remember this, but I brought my nephew Elliot along for a trip to see the Elks at the Riders game at the end of last year. And I remember you asking, who it was and his name, and you said hello. And to him, that made this whole thing feel real. So I appreciated that. And also from a media standpoint, what I most appreciated about you as a head coach, and, as you continue along here, is your honesty. Perhaps people might have felt like that gives away some of the gamesmanship that we see in professional sports. But if you got asked a question, you didn't give an answer that wasn't truthful. So I think that has really resonated with people, yes, in Rider Nation, but also around the CFL, that you're not giving us an answer to kind of misdirect us, or you would be honest and just kind of say, hey, I'm not going to answer that question because I can't give you the honest answer. And I think I just wanted to say that, outwardly, because of what we do at 3 Down Nation. And sometimes we are critical, and especially those couple of seasons where at the end of the year, it kind of didn't go the way that you would have wanted it to, but you were always truthful and you didn't seem to hold a grudge, even though you maybe could have.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I mean, life's too short. I feel like authenticity is the most important thing you can be. You got to be yourself, and you got to be real to people. And I tried my best to be that way. One thing I learned, and something that was said that stuck with me, is that in your interactions with people, whether and then again, this goes back to, I was fortunate enough, Justin, I took a graduate program in leadership and education, and those classes, probably the smartest thing I ever did was go to grad school, because all of that stuff just seems to apply to not just football and coaching, but just everything, life in general. And one of the things they said was, people will not remember the score of the game or the whatever the result of your interaction was. They'll remember how you made them feel. So I've really tried to be authentic and genuine and real with people, and look them in the eye and make sure that they felt like, one, they were seen, and two, they were heard. And so hopefully everybody that I've visited with over the years, and I hopefully continue to do that moving forward, felt like Coach gave me a moment of his time, and hopefully they feel like it was a conversation or an interaction they enjoyed, because I enjoyed each one of them. And so thanks for everybody for all that support and for all the good energy. I sure appreciated it.
I certainly have felt that way, and we appreciate you even agreeing to and doing this interview. Wish you all the best in the future, and until we talk to you next time. Thanks a lot, Coach.
Sounds good. Hopefully next year you'll want to talk to me some more.
We'll try to make it happen.
Thanks, Justin.